Hello and welcome back to IndustrialCraft 2. Essentially today we're going to be showing you how to produce uranium fuel rods because we're going to need it for our uranium power, nuclear power, which I'm not going to put in here because the previous map that I did on this, essentially it blew up and took out a large area and I was very cross. So I'm going to put it out here and then just run the wire into the building itself. So what do you need? You need a solid canning machine. Now there is other ways of doing this, but it's longer and involved. This is a very quick way of doing it. So you can do it in a fluid solid canning machine, but the solid canning machine does essentially the same job and creates the fuel rod of uranium. And so with fuel rods themselves, and we'll look at those in just a minute. But what you first need is enriched uranium nuclear fuel. Now, to make that, you need the uranium-238 and a tiny pile of uranium-235. Now, remember from previous episodes when we talked about how we must be wearing protective suits when doing anything with uranium. So, what we need to do is get our containment box, and we're going to ignore that for just a minute. So, this one, as I said, solid canning machine, 2 electronic circuits, a basic machine casing, and a tin can. Now, a tin can is a bit of a pain. So you just get the tin item casings using the metal former that we've already gone over, stick it on extruding, and you get a tin can. And the fuel rods themselves, again, extruding, iron plate gives you fuel rods. So you can do it with the so if we go like that and do that, you can see here that the fluid solid canning machine, you can put it in here and stick the enrichment in there and you get the same thing. It's pretty much the same situation with it, but this just makes it seems a lot easier and less, weird to me. So how do we go from here? So we need to get onto a crafting bench, and we're going to need 1, 2, 3. Actually, what we'll do, we'll just let's get 2 stacks of that, 1 stack of that. There we go. And we have enriched uranium nuclear fuel. Okay, so we're going to put that back in there, like so. And then we're going to go over here to our 21 fuel rods and chuck it in there. Now, it's a fairly quick old process. It doesn't take that long. And essentially, we're going to create these fuel rods. Now, these are used to create dual fuel rods, and then quad fuel rods, and so on. So these are used within the process of powering your nuclear fuel setup. Now, obviously, after a while, if you're using the nuclear power all the time, you're going to run out of these. So what you need to make sure you're doing is essentially having quite a stockpile of uranium. The only issue I have with the solid canning machine is that it has to have this stuff. So if you're like me, when you got uranium before and you didn't look at what you were doing and thought, I'm being really clever here, I've got so much of this stuff, I'm going to smelt it down. This is how much uranium I've wasted, because I can't use this in that machine, because all it does is give me uranium grit. It doesn't have any way of me trying to reverse this. I don't get anything back from what I need. Thankfully, this is stuff I am going to need, so I can use these to create this rather than the other way around. But I cannot get the original nuclear fuel. So I would have to essentially use tiny piles of uranium whilst using your refined uranium. So it's, when you're getting this stuff, don't do what I did. Do not do that. Right, back to the point here. It's so slow. It's ridiculous, right? So that's now on 11 there, and you take it out, and again, because it's uranium, you just take it out and put it in here. So it's nice and safe in the containment box until you're ready for the next step. And essentially that is how you create uranium fuel rods. You need to create fuel rods, empties, put them in a solid canning machine, and stick the enrichment of this stuff, which is 238 and 235. And that is essentially fuel rods. So we'll see you for the next part when we get it all set up. Take it easy.